So if you're opening Google Sheets on your phone or on your tablet, you should be using their mobile app. It makes it a lot easier. But you'll notice right away it is way different from the desktop app. The way that it looks at files, the way that you work with the data, it's all different. It's not necessarily better or worse, but you have to get used to it. What I'm going to do is just point out what the differences are and how to use them the new way that Google Sheets thinks you should use them if you have no mouse and a tiny screen and a touch screen, which is all different from how we're used to using spreadsheets. So you can see when I first open this up, it's not ready for me to start typing. It's just showing me my spreadsheet. When you open something on desktop, it's ready to go. This mode is the only one that will show you your different worksheets at the bottom. If you see at the bottom left sales orders and my links, you click on my links, it'll take you to another worksheet. If I double click, the keyboard comes up and there's just a couple minor things to note here. If you see on the top of the keyboard, it's smart and it gives you an extra row of options. These are symbols that you use a lot when you're entering formulas and they're buried in the keyboard. They're not on the first page, so it sticks them in this top row for use. It does make sense. So now I'm at a place where I can edit the cells, where this is a little bit more traditional spreadsheet right now, and that I recognize what I'm doing, right? I'm in a cell, I have a blinking cursor, it's ready for me to go. But it still works differently. So let's backspace through this and just act like we want to enter a formula. As we talked about before, put the equal sign on this top row, otherwise we would have had to go through a different keyboard to find it. So let's hit equal. You'll notice the blue function symbol lit up, the little blue square right to the left of the blinking cursor. That's super helpful to use on an iPad. I actually think it works better than it does on a desktop. If you're not sure of the name of the function, use this to find it. So we're going to click on the square. And this is a list of all the functions and they're categorized. And let's just say we're using a financial function. And we're going to want to do straight line depreciation. Click on SLN, and then you're still getting help. You see SLN, and it tells you the three parameters at once. And you see how cost is highlighted. That means it's waiting for you to input the cost. And there's a couple of things you can do here. So you can type in the numbers of the cost, or you can select a cell where it is. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to click on E3. And if you look down the formula bar, it's just typed E3. Now here's one significant difference. If you want a range of cells, you're probably used to selecting it with your mouse and clicking and dragging. Well, that concept doesn't exist. But what they've done is the red area is your range, and you can see it corresponds. So the red rectangle is around E3, and that's the same color as the E3 that's sitting in the formula box. To extend that range, I'm going to take my finger on the outside of this red rectangle and drag it. So now I have 3 cells selected. And as in any spreadsheet, when I'm ready to enter the next parameter, I do a comma. And you see how the highlighting moved to salvage? Let's just say I know that number. I'm going to have to change my keyboard, press the number in the lower left-hand corner, where you see the 1, 2, 3. That'll cycle you to the number keyboard. And I know the salvage value is $345. Let's keep that simple. Just type it in, do another comma, and then it's looking for life. So you may be referencing a cell for this. In this case, to keep it easy, I'm just going to say it's a 3-year asset. And to enter this formula, you can either do the blue check mark at the right of this long rectangle, or you can hit return. I'll do the blue check mark in this case. So watch what happens in cell B2. That formula was entered. In this case, it gave an error. So we're going to go back into the formula and try to fix it. And this is where you can see that it's hard to work with Google Sheets on the iPad, because if I take my finger and I click on E3 to E5, because I know that's where the mistake is, and I just want it to be E2. If I then take my finger and click it on E2, it just changes to E2. Really frustrating. So I'm going to go back with my finger into B2 and click on that, and I'll just give up and type E2 and then hit enter. And the formula is going to work now. Gives you depreciation expense of 83.33. So there we covered how to go into a cell, how to get it active so you can type into it, and how to look up formulas. All definitely works differently than it does on the desktop. It's slower. It's easier if you have a Bluetooth keyboard, but it is doable. It works. I don't think you're going to want to do any heavy lifting with this, working on big spreadsheets, but you can certainly download something and do some work on it when you're in a plane or train or an automobile.